So my name is Jodi Newell. I'm representing Cheshire 4, which is a little slice of heaven over there in Keene. And I just wanted to give a quick introduction to this bill, and I'm going to need to scoot off. I know you have all heard a couple Article 5 convention calls and a delegate instructions bill. And so I really don't think I need to flesh out the concept. I think you guys probably are pretty familiar with that. You've seen, as well as I have, although I'm sure more on account of the seats you hold on this committee, plenty of emails from folks concerned about a well-funded effort to rewrite the Constitution by nefarious actors. This is a concern I'm very familiar with. I actually got involved with this movement. I first visited this building as a volunteer for an organization called Wolfpack, which is a grassroots funded group of volunteers reading DOJ, ABA, and CRS reports in our spare time and talking to legislators about the best solution we knew of how to address the corruption of our democracy. Our issue was the corrupting issue of the corrupting influence of money in politics. With Citizens United and all the other cases whose precedent it was built on, with the body directly benefiting from this corruption, tasked with addressing it, fixing this issue surely seemed insurmountable. But there is a way, because the one thing that the Supreme Court is beholden to is the Constitution. Now, I know you've all heard about Now, I know that you've heard all about the two methods written into Article 5. And the fact that we've never actually had an amendment convention. What is not widely discussed in these emails is the American tradition, and an effective one at that, of calling for an Article 5 convention. Until relatively recently in our history, they were used fairly often, resulting in what many called the prodding effect. What I call it is leverage. It's the people's leverage, and it was intended to be used that way. In a document rife with checks and balances, this provides a balance to counter a potentially corrupt or unresponsive Congress with instructions written right into the Constitution itself. It says, in fact, that if a specific issue is so fundamentally important, is supported by the vast majority of the population, and still, yet, our elected leaders will not act, we the people will go around you. This is leverage, and I would argue that we've never actually had an amendment convention precisely because this works so well. That said, I can empathize with the concern. In fact, had I not been reminded by a voice in my own community, I wouldn't be here submitting this bill today. To be clear, this is not an Article 5 convention call. This is the solution to the fear and uncertainty that dissuades us from utilizing what is essentially a constitutional right. It is not entirely within the power of this body to decide whether we have an amendment convention. It is within our power to protect ourselves from contributing to a corrupt one. This bill lays out democratic processes for electing delegates. It prohibits delegates with potential conflicts of interest. It establishes an oath, as well as the processes and legal consequences from straying from their mandate, which is to say, straying from the will of the people of New Hampshire. The rest is on the video. I just, I hope that you can see this and understand exactly where I'm coming from and how this action, to me, is protecting the people of New Hampshire, protecting our country, and providing for us to remedy issues that are so important, so fundamental to the functioning of our democracy. Thank you for your time and for your consideration.